Alright, so this looks like it's working. So now you see a picture with some F-15s that are about to take off, and behind it is my F-16 that I'm going to be using for the first part of the mission. So this is a close air support training mission that I've built. It's meant to be fairly simple, but I wanted it to have like a certain amount of replayability. So on the map, you'll see that we're at Krimsk. I thought this was a good area because lots of fields, lots of places to put targets. And I've put a series of targets here for the Viper for the F-16, series of targets for the Hornets further north. And in between I've put a few targets for F-15 tank plinking with laser guided bombs. There's a target for a Mirage 2000, a Mirage F1. Those targets here are pretty much static, but for all of these targets here and all of these targets here, what happens is that the targets can appear in different spots. Like the BTR-80s, they have like a few spots where they can appear in that area. Same thing for the BMP ones there. And the SA-9, we can see that there are some support vehicles and everything there, but the SA-9s probably will appear somewhere in the field here, I would suppose, but we don't know exactly where as we start the mission, so it makes it replayable a little bit better. And I've even put like an area here where there could be an Apache taking off from our base, going to the recon spot and attacking targets. I plan to add more planes. This area here is mostly like what I would call the fairly easy area, because for the BTR-80s and BMP ones here, there's a little bit of AAA that will again be randomized, but nothing too serious. There are some SA-9s which can be a bit dangerous, but it's not the end of the world. But then I thought eventually I might make other targets like further away, which will be better defended, maybe even have man pads. And here there's an enemy airfield that's a little bit better defended as well. So we'll try to stick to our target areas, and to show it off I figured I'd start with the F-16 that I have here. In the briefing I've tried to put like a little bit of a description for each role, so let's go look at our briefing. And so you can see that here the first part not super important because I've put a lot of notes about what's done and what's not. But if we look, the plane that we are in right now, it's Colt 1, and so we're going to attack BMP 1s at steer point 2. We're going to use the targeting pod to spot and then target with our CB 105s. You can see there. And then we have rockets and guns to finish them off. There could be light AAA in the area. So I've put like quick descriptions, and as you can see for most of the planes the target is at waypoint 2, so it makes it easy. It's not really a navigation challenge, it's just get there, attack your targets, but you don't really know where they're going to be. So like for this plane, I'm gonna pause it again. For this plane I have a targeting pod, so once I get there it's probably going to make things a little bit easier. But I've sort of like graded the difficulty. The first plane, this is 1-1, is a bit easier because it has a targeting pod. The second plane I think I put with possibly a targeting pod but unguided bombs. And then I have the other plane which can attack the SA-9s. It only has Mavericks and dump bombs, so basically that's what you have, and so you have to work with what you're given. And so it goes in increasing levels of difficulty, and you don't really know where the targets are going to be, so it adds a little bit of challenge. I mean, when I build a lot of those missions, what happens is that I know exactly where the targets are because I'm the one who put them there. So hopefully this is a mission that I could play, let's say, in a month or two and not remember where I've put everything because there are so many targets. And then you get the surprise when you get to the target area. So let's see what it looks like. So these two F-15s are there to provide cap. There's not going to be much of anything in terms of enemy airplanes. I think I've put some MiG-21s, as you can see there at the enemy base, but that's about it. And so nothing too serious. So we'll let these guys move around, and then we'll set up our cockpit. Since we have the targeting pod, we'll turn that on. We're gonna turn that on over here. Go to manual. Then do we have a jammer? No, we have a fuel tank. And then put the lights on steady. And then nothing is laser guided on this one. Gonna go power up these bombs, these rockets. We'll leave them in single for now. So the F-15s are taking off, as you can see here. And so it's going to be our turn to do the same. And so let's go.
Colt 1, request takeoff.
Colt 1, you are cleared for takeoff when ready. Climb 300 at QSE 29.86.
And it's not a super long flight either, so if you train and you get attacked by enemies and you crash, whatever, you can take off again, restart. This is something I figure might be fun in multiplayer as well. I've thought in the past of maybe making like a server that I would make available to the public. These types of missions could be good to recruit new pilots. Let me know if that's something that you'd like to do eventually. Maybe do some training flights on a server with people who can help you out and show you how to attack ground targets. So right now the weather is really nice. There's a few clouds, but they're fairly high. It's nothing too dramatic in terms of enemies, as I said. So this allows us to have a nice mission where we can concentrate on the job we have to do. And I kind of like this area. Lots of fields, a few little villages here and there, some forest areas like this. This is a nice part of the Caucasus map. And I built a mission on this map today because I know my friends have it, and I also know that a lot of new players who join, well, they'll be able to have that map because it's free. So right now I'm looking around. I saw some friendly planes earlier. I guess that was the F-15s. If we look here on our nav chart, we're approaching our first waypoint there, and then we'll go attack in this area. Looks like there's a AAA over there. So how far are we from the waypoint? 3 miles. Those are our F-15s ahead of us. They're not very big, but we can see them there. Alright, so we're passing the waypoint, so let's switch to the next one. And the cool thing in the F-16, I didn't turn on my helmet display, but when you turn on the helmet display, you can see there's a lozenge there where the targets are going to be. So I'm just going to put my plane on autopilot heading in that direction. We'll switch to air to ground. And we'll turn on the targeting pod. We'll make it our sensor of interest. And then we can zoom out a bit and try to see, are there vehicles in there? Let's go white hot. You see, there's a group of vehicles there that appear quite clearly. And these are BMP-1s, and that's what we want to attack today. So we could select that one and say, okay, we're in range with our CB-105, so drop 1, change target, go over here, drop 2. It's okay if I wasn't quite on the targets because these are with corrected munitions. So if we look at F6, we'll be able to see where these are going. And we're probably just over there up top. And of course these have the intelligent munitions, so we'll see them deploy the little tiny parachutes, and then we can watch the show. Let's see how that deploys. So these weapons are quite effective, as you can see. We've pretty much eliminated everything that was there, I think. 1 pass, 2 bombs, and we still have 2. So we can see behind us there, that spot has got a lot of smoke. Now what we can do for fun as well, since this is training and we still have bombs and rockets, is we could try to determine where the AAA is. And so there's 2 ways you can do that. I'm just going to put the autopilot back on. You can go to the F10 map and spot them visually. You'll see that they're here. That's like cheating, right? And so what I could also do is go back to my targeting pod, zoom out, and then look for sources of heat in the sector. And then you go like, is that something there? That's a chimney. Oh, okay. So you zoom out, continue looking for targets. You see there's a source of heat there. Okay, that's an oil derrick. So that's not a target. You go looking around, you find other things like this, some more oil derricks. I guess they emit a certain amount of heat. To see if there's something that's not an oil derrick that could be a AAA. Those are our targets that are burning. Ah, that there. That looks different. Ah, you see, that's a truck. If we zoom in, there is a AAA gun with him. So we can lock that. Now we see that it's over there, so we'll bring the plane to that location. That's definitely the target we want. I could just go drop some more CBU-105s, but I kind of like sport. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my lock on it, and then I'll switch to rockets to actually manually fire this AAA gun. And the other thing we could do is, you can see we're perpendicular to it. So I can use the fact that my targeting pod is on the right side of my F-16 there, to go position myself to line up the targets in a line. And that way, if I want to shoot rockets, the targets will all be nicely lined up. This gives us like giant binoculars or bionic eyes, whichever one you prefer to call it. You can refine your lock on the one that's important. But here we can see that there is this AAA gun and the 2 infantrymen and the truck. If we zoom in the view, we'll know that it's that little speck of something there in the green. Alright, so if I turn now, I think I'm going to be able to line up the targets. Yeah, I think that's going to be good. Alright, so now they're lined up. Doesn't have to be perfect, but oh, so our lock has moved. That's always a bit of a problem. But as I said, I wanted to have a little bit of sport, and I see them there to the left. So let's shoot some rockets at that position. I don't think this AAA is going to bother anybody. I just realized my lights are still on. Maybe we could turn those off. It's funny because the AAA was in an area where they were pumping oil. You can see those antennas there with the red lights on them. Those are like derricks, whatever they call them, pump jacks next to them. Okay, so now if I go back to my bombs, I make my targeting pod the soy. Will I be able to check my targets? There you go, just exploded. So yeah, if we zoom in on this, you can see the guns destroyed, the soldiers are down, the truck's on fire. So that's all good. And if we check our F10 map, there's a Jeep there, but that's just a Jeep I had put in order to do bomb damage assessments. It's still a mission that's being tested at this point, so I like to use those Jeeps for bomb damage assessments. So now that we're done with our ground attack, we can just head back to base. And so the beauty of single player is I can make that much faster than it needs to be. There we go. Waypoint. So I'll do a cursor 0. Yeah, that's a bit better.
Altitude. Altitude.
You can see that our waypoint is on the airfield. Get the air brakes out. Slow it down. few more G's. I'm not trying to make it look good, I'm just trying to get the plane on the ground so that I can then show you with the Hornet what it's going to look like if we do a similar type of mission. Maybe I'll take the BTRs this time for the Hornet. Let's put our feet on the pedals. Slow down some more. Raise the seat up a bit. Touchdown. And now we can slow it down. Alright, so I'll just get it off the runway here and we'll take the Hornet. Alright, so our plane is back. Let's go to the choose slot. And if I take the second Hornet, I think this one here, this one has Mark 83s and rockets, so less guided stuff because the other one has GBU 38s that you can use with the targeting pod. And I think the target for this one is some BTR 80s, which again we don't really know where they're going to appear. They'll probably have a AAA as well, so let's go look at that. So we'll switch to the other plane. So yeah, for Chevy 2, attack BTR 80 targets at waypoint 2, targets an open green field near yellow field and forest areas. There could be like AAA in the area. So I'm checking out my switches here. So this is going to be the plane. I chose the Finland skin for it. And so again, 4 bombs, 4 rocket pods. There is a targeting pod, but I'll probably not even use it for this one. And so how are we going to do this? Well, if we look at our waypoints, we're going to go to our IP over here, and then we're going to go to the BTR 80s. Like I said, I don't want to look too much because I want to keep the surprise. So we'll just set up our different instruments here. Get that going. I like to bypass. Although now sometimes I put it on because with the new data cartridges you can set up the programs that you like. And so I've experimented with that a little bit. But for training purposes in a mission like this one, where there's not that much of a threat except maybe the AAA, I think I'm gonna be alright like this. So now I'm setting up my bombs with their modes for dropping them, which will be CCIP, constantly computed impact point. I'll have my rockets, and I'm armed like I'm not supposed to, but you know me, I do that all the time. And are my lights on? Yes, I can see the reflections there on the rocket pods. And good. And And so we have our flight plan, we have things up and going here. And so, oh yes, I forgot, we could ask, request a taxi.
In field 1, request taxi to runway.
Field 1, clear to taxi to runway 4.
That's one of the nice little details I've put in this mission, is that all the planes have the second radio set for the airfield here, and the COM1 radio, if you set it on channel 2, you can have access to the AWACS on 264, but like I said earlier, there's not much of a threat in the air, so nothing to worry about for now.
Field 1, unable to clear for takeoff.
Yeah, I know. Always say that.
Field 1, you are cleared for takeoff.
And then we're cleared.
Climb 300 at QSE 29.86.
So there we go. Now we're going to use the Hornet. Get the flaps up. And so we'll head for our first waypoint. We'll get out of Afterburner. You can see the two lines in the sky. That's probably our F-15s. Let's turn the air-to-air radar just for fun. Yeah, those are friendlies. And since in terms of friendlies we have the AWACS behind us and the F-15s in front of us, that's them. So since I'm not using the targeting pod for this one, I'm going to stay at about 5,000 feet. Maybe 6. Just climb just a little more. And then when I get to the target, I'll try to see what I can see. Maybe drop a bomb or two to surprise them. And then we can switch to rockets and guns to finish everything off. Alright, so now we're heading for our waypoint. We'll turn the autopilot on. Nice looking plane. I turn the lights off. So as you can see, I'm approaching my IP, and then I'm going to go towards the targets. And that's what we saw earlier in the sky. It's those F-15s. Now in the Hornet, you don't get like your waypoint lozenge like in the F-16 unless you waypoint designate. And when you do that, like let's say for this one I want to drop bombs in the CCIP mode, you sort of lose that opportunity. So that's why I'm not going to do the waypoint designate, but if someone wanted to be able to see what we could see with the F-16, you would be able to do that. So right now what I'll do is I'll just try to gauge the distance. Let's see what I can do with my bombs. So we're going to go to air-to-ground mode. Really need the radar. I like to have my HSI here so that I can see my flight plan. It helps for my situational awareness like this. I know like the distance from the target, and I know that I have to look for vehicles close to some trees and some fields. Ah, I see them there. If you see those little dots. So that's what we're going to go attack. So what I'll do is I'm going to position this here, and then I'll try to go around and do a pass where I can have those targets lined up. Since they're nice and in a line right now, I think I'll drop like a row of bombs on them. There we go. So let's attack this position. They will never know what hit them.
Altitude. Altitude.
Bombs away, bombs away, bombs away. So I've dropped 3 of my 4 bombs. I'll have 1 more. And let's see what that did. Kaboom, kaboom, kaboom. Oh, and there's AAA shooting there. So that might give us a bit of an idea that there's AAA behind the targets. So what I'll do for now is I'll switch to my rockets. And as I do my pass in the opposite direction, I'll try to spot the AAA if it shoots back at us again. Because then we can hit these targets and the AAA.
Altitude. Altitude.
Even though these are super modern jets, I still like doing this not very high-tech stuff. And I saw there that this is the guy that was shooting at us, so let's light him up. See how we did there. Oh, we got the truck for sure. If we got the truck, I think we got the AAA as well. So I'm gonna give it some afterburner, because I've lost a lot of speed in that turn. And we'll switch back to bombs because I only have 1 left, and it's, I think, destined for that vehicle there, which looks like it's a BTR. So we'll go fire the last bomb on this guy. And just for fun, I'm going to do it this way, so that I can line up between the 2 smokes where I saw the guy. These are Mark 83s. They're 1,000-pound bombs, so I tried to drop them in a dive from fairly high and then move away as the bomb leaves the airplane so that I don't blow up with it.
Altitude. Altitude.
Bombs away, and we turn. And let's see what that does. Right on the money. So let's see now with our F10 map. So I think we got the AAA because we don't see anything else there, but there's still the 1 BTR that's damaged but not dead. So we'll switch back to our rockets. And then this could be like a good practice. If I wanted to practice my guns as well, I could go with guns, which is more or less the same principle, but since I have like did I get rid of all my rockets? I don't think so. I think I still have a few left. Yes, 52. Okay. Yes, so there's this thing there that's smoking. Much left of that guy. it's all cleaned up. Nothing left here in that field. So we switch waypoint and we can head back to base. Back to nav mode. And for fun, we can practice jettisoning our empty fuel tank that's there in the middle. And down it goes. Probably gonna fall in the woods there.
Focus 1-1, passing waypoint 2 at 28,000.
And since we're on the practice of dropping things, let's drop those empty rocket pods. And down they go. So now we have nice clean configuration. So we have that big lake there, and the base is just beyond that. There we go there. So I'll do like I did earlier. No need to fly the boring stuff in real time. These air brakes out. Pull a few G's. Gear down, flaps to full. Make sure we fly over that big fence. If you're wondering why I'm landing on the right side, it's earlier tonight I was flying with my wingman, and I usually land right side of the runway. He lands right behind me on the left side, so I guess force of habit. So now we've got our air brakes out. Slow this baby down. Alright, so now we're back on the ground. Now for the next part, I wanted to show like the slightly harder mission with the SA-9s. So I'm trying to decide if I'm going to do it with an F-16 or if I'll do it with a Hornet. Earlier tonight, I actually flew with the F-16 and the Mavericks. So since I've recently practiced that, and this is a training mission, I'm gonna train with the Hornet, which it's been a while I've used with Mavericks, so we'll try that since we just flew the Hornet, I'll be familiar with the cockpit. It's just the weaponry that we need to check. So I think what we have for this flight is those bombs that you can deploy the balloons. So if I want to drop them in retarded mode, I can, but I can also deploy them in regular mode if I just want to have like a free fall bomb. So, and we have the 2 Mavericks, so let's set all of that up. Do we have yeah, we have a targeting pod. So this is my little routine. EW repeated in the HUD. Waypoint 1, sequence 1. I've done my data link. Let's go here to the stores. This you want to actually turn on, activate fairly early. If I click on it again, I don't think we can do that on the ground. For this, I'll set them in CCIP, and my fuse for now will be set to nose. That means it's going to be free fall. If I set nose tail or with the tail fuse, it's going to create drag. Anyways, so yeah. Although I think this one you can set with this too. So right now it's FF free fall. So this is good, this is good, this is good. Yeah, I'll have to check the Mavericks once we're airborne, because I like to pre-zoom the Mavericks. So the good news is that we know that the SA-9s are in a field. And why do we know that? You're gonna say because it says in a yellow field near waypoint 2. There could also be AAA, and you can bomb the support vehicles under the camo nets. So thank you for that. Have good intel. Thank you, Tower, for allowing me to take off without me communicating properly with you. Because this one was my fault. Just like my last landing, I didn't ask permission first. We're going to make our climb a little bit faster. Alright, so let's bring it to about 9,000 feet. Usually I shoot Mavericks in a slight dive. That's why I like to start off high. Now before we get to our important target waypoints, I'm just going to set this on barometric. I'm going to go air to ground. I'm going to click Maverick, and that's what allows us to go and decide FOV. We want it zoomed, and then you can step to the next missile and zoom again, so that your 2 missiles will be zoomed in when you go to the target area. So now I can move that. Set that here back to my HSI. Alright, so I think I'll switch to the next waypoint a bit early. I think we're still running with our lights on. Yes, we can see them flashing, so we're going lights off. Master arm is on. We don't need the laser because those are the infrared Mavericks that we're going to shoot. So what I'll do here, since I'm about 15 miles and it says they're in a yellow field, I would guess it's that field over there. I'm going to set my autopilot to attitude hold. And now we're going to go back to our stores. Oh, I forgot to go air-to-ground mode. Maverick. This side I will go waypoint designate, and I will go to my FLIR. And make the FLIR my sensor of interest with that here. And now we're looking for those little dots. Maybe if I put it in infrared, we'll see them even better. Zoomed in further. That looks like a good target for me. So if I go to my Maverick, I can say I want that to lock that. And I'm in range, so
Altitude. Altitude.
C, is that it? No, it's not C. Forget what we need to do, and I'm getting very close. So as you can see, sometimes training is a bit sketchy. I'm used to using the ground moving target radar to target the Mavericks, so now there's clearly one step I didn't do to lock the targets. So there's cage on cage. I don't think that's what I needed to do. Let me just check my controls here. If I hit C, that's cage on cage, yeah, okay. What does that button do? What does that button do? Okay, we'll try that. So we're about 7 miles, which is still in range for the Maverick. We just need to get a nice lock on it so we can shoot. Hopefully our targeting pod will still be pointing in the right direction. Go. Okay, so we're pointing in the right direction. I think I forgot to switch to this screen, and then if I hit that, I think now we have a lock that we can shoot. There we go. And then if I go to my targeting pod again, maybe I'll be able to remove the targeting pod. No. Not. We'll just watch him blow up, and then we'll try to go get his friend. I forget that I'm in the Hornet and the targeting pod's on the other side, so maybe we'll lose it before it hits. Yeah, now he's positioning to shoot. No, he's dead. Move away still because his friend could actually decide to shoot at me. I don't want that. So Now the targets are on my left side, and since on the Hornet the targeting pod's on the left side, I can use it to try to find the other target if it will allow me to actually move my cursor. It doesn't want to move for some reason. If I do that cage thing. Let's go back here to the HSI. We'll go to flare. So it's pointing in the right direction. I just gotta position my plane. Okay, that should be okay. Now I can move it. So let's look for that other dot. I think that's him right there. Zoom in on it. Yeah, that looks like an SA-9. Good. So let's turn for the target. Make the Maverick the sensor of interest and fire rifle.
Altitude. Altitude.
That's why these training missions are useful. I had almost forgotten how to do this. But if we look at our missile, let's see. Oop. I don't know what those missiles were, but that's our missile. I think the other ones were like SA-3s. Maybe they're shooting at somebody friendly. I don't know. But that's our target here, and he's dead. So now that this has been taken care of, I know that on this target there were also support vehicles. So what we'll do is we'll position the target to our left side again. Put the autopilot on. For some reason it doesn't want to allow me to move the camera, so I have to use all these and yeah, I can see, you can see it in this area here. I'll zoom in like that. That there are some vehicles there, so those are the people we want, and so I'll go visual for that. Switching to bombs, CCIP. So we will remove our targeting cue. Once we know where the target is, it's in that area there. So let's switch back to waypoint. Now we're back in CCIP. And so what we saw earlier is those vehicles there. There we go. We'll line them up and woo!
Altitude. Altitude.
Plop, plop, plop. So there should be 3 bombs exploding there. And I still have 1 for those vehicles in the field. Zoom all the way in.
Altitude.
Try to see
Altitude.
if I can get that guy there. Plop. Kaboom. There's one giant truck left, and I'm going to use the gun for that one.
Altitude. Altitude.
Guns, guns, guns. And we got him. And now let's look just for fun on the F10 map if there's anything left on that target. SA9 plus support, that whole field has been cleared. We can go home. So you can see that I've created a BMP-1, BTR-80, SA9 for the Hornets and Vipers. There are targets there for some other planes. Maybe just for fun to sort of complete the video, I could take my Mirage 2000, which I haven't flown in a while as well. And I could go try to bomb the sort of supply base I built for it. So what I'll do is I'll just switch slots from here. We won't bother bringing the plane back, and we'll go directly to the Mirage 2000. It's got Mark 82s and rockets. So for the Mirage, I've actually just to get things switches in the right spots. And if I press down the brakes, I can put the parking brake. So yes, the Mirage, you have the 4 bombs and the rockets. The target for it is static, so I'll just show you what it looks like. So this is the target I want to hit. There's a little hangar, a few other objects, trucks. And so we'll try to drop the bombs in a retarded mode, like on the hangar and the trucks, and then we'll use the rockets to clear everything else. So again, the last time I flew the Mirage was mostly for air-to-air, so I'm gonna set up my waypoints. And then I'll set my countermeasures. And since I usually forget the lights on this thing, I'll just turn them off right away. Then I'll be able to set that up. That's already armed, right? Good, okay. And so that's just my parking brake that's giving me that message. If I do this, it goes away. And so we're going to taxi in our Mirage. There we go. Nose wheel steering is now activated. I really like the color of that HUD in the 2000. Really cool. It's not the same green as the other planes, so I like what the people at Rasbam had done with that one. This is going to be our plane for this one. I do have magic air-to-air missiles, but I don't think we're going to use them. So it's mostly going to be about dropping the bombs and shooting rockets. Two things I haven't done in a long time in this plane. And that's why we build training missions. Forgot to call the tower. I don't know if it works for this one.
Krimsk, Pontiac 2, request startup.
Pontiac 2, cleared for startup.
Krimsk, Pontiac 2, request taxi to runway.
I guess he's realized I'm already on it.
Krimsk, Pontiac 2, request taxi to runway.
Pontiac 2, are you on the clear for takeoff? Pontiac 2, you are clear for takeoff when ready. Climb 300 at QSE 29.86.
It's a cool plane, but it's heavy. Alright, so we've got a good speed. I'm just gonna check a few things just from memory to see if I'll remember. I think these are the bonds. I can set them to red. That's what I want because I'll be... Oops, not 18. 1 will be enough, yes. But yeah, in the Mirage, it's just a question of setting up the right switches when I want to drop bombs that I want to check. Okay, I think that's the one. And if I hit the lower button, I go back to nav. Okay, so it's not too bad, you see? But yeah, I'll have to go up on that switch to do that so that I can drop my bombs. Okay. So for now, we're just navigating. Let's just put ourselves right on the waypoint. I think we're almost already at the point where we'll switch. I'm waiting until I'm right on the waypoint because I think then we'll be heading straight east, which should line us up perfectly with the target we want to hit. So we're less than a mile away. And so now we'll switch waypoint. And the waypoint is along that line somewhere on that road, I think, the target. So now we can switch to the air-to-ground mode. And head for the target. It'd be nice if I could visually spot it from up high. Okay, I think I see it there in the distance. That would be it right there. We'll see it better when we get closer, but there's a hangar. And yeah, there should be other things. We can see the cross points somewhere close to it, not right on it. But I knew that I had to check a road, and it's right next to the road, so yeah. This is what we gotta hit, so let's head to 500 feet, 500 knots. I think I hit the wrong button, so I probably didn't drop any bombs, did I? Yeah. And now that I think about it, I think what I'll do is I'll drop them in pairs. A little bit of spacing. So I forget sometimes that with the Mirage everything's with the trigger. In the Hornet you can do air-to-air with the trigger, and then you have the pickle button for bombs, and the F-16 it's triggers just for guns and pickle buttons for everything else, and this plane it's just the trigger. So I have my master arm. I'm gonna need a bit more speed. Let's go. Let's do this. And no bombs have fallen. Did I just press the wrong button? Again, I was just talking about it. It's force of habit with other planes. I'll try it in the other direction. Maybe I'll be luckier. It's kind of sad to have two very well lined up passes and you hit the wrong button. But it's training. We're having fun learning. So hopefully I'll learn by the third time. They say third time's a charm. Hope it is. Come on, Cool Hand, you can do this. We've got our speed. Let's get the altitude. Okay, get your finger off the pickle button on the trigger. Okay, I heard bombs drop this time. Let's see what that does. Oh yeah, that's good. Oh yeah, I think I had put secondaries on that one. We'll go drop our remaining bombs there. And I hit the wrong button again. How stupid do you have to be, man? My muscle memory is not built for this plane. Because I find the graphics for no mirrors look so ugly that it's better to have them on. Okay, trigger, trigger, trigger. Kaboom. And now we'll switch to our rockets. And this symbology is the one we use for the rockets. I physically moved my thumb away from the pickle button on top of the joystick so that I'll just use the trigger this time. You gotta find tricks. Air brakes out. get those trucks. Yeah, I think we got a few things on fire with that pass. Now, one thing I don't do very often is actually use the air-to-ground gun. Okay, so it's working. Yeah, I think there's a switch in that plane too that you can charge, yes, like that. It's like the F-16. When you're light, you can pull more G's. Let's see if we can hit something else with the guns. Finish off that truck. Is there another one there? I think they're all dispatched. So that means we can head back home. Alright, so let's go back to nav mode, switch to waypoint 3. That's going to bring us to our final. Remove that. Means our fuel tank is empty. And so since we're on the training process, we could drop our centerline tank and our empty rocket pods just for fun. So we do this, and then I think this is going to get rid of my rocket pods. Like this. Bye-bye. They're gone. And then if I go, is it mag that does the tank? No, that's the missiles. Silly me. There. Well, I got rid of a lot of weight, right? Yeah, mag is for magic. I guess it's a good way to confirm that when I don't fly a plane for almost a year, I become a little bit dumb. But no, it hasn't been a year since I flew the Mirage. It's just that since I did a lot of the air-to-ground things and those jettison things, it's been at least 3 months, if not 6. Alright, so let's make this go a bit faster. And again, the landing will be a good practice. I've done a few landings lately, but cool thing with the Mirage is this button changes everything. So we're gonna switch to last waypoint, which is for the runway. Air brakes out. It's much more fun getting the air brakes out to slow down a Mirage 2000 than it is for an F-15E. This plane is so much lighter. It slows down much faster. The F-15, if you're loaded with fuel and still had like a good amount of speed, it doesn't want to lose it. It's got too much inertia. This one, it's kind of cool. So again, we're gonna raise the seat a bit to see better. And what you want to do is bring all of these things in a line and on the runway. If I had set up the ILS, we would even have like a little square box around the runway to land in poor weather. It's very useful, but just doing what we're doing right now, if you look at the outside view, the plane is in the perfect angle coming into land. Still put my feet on the pedals to have rudder support there. They're pretty sensitive rudders there. Isn't this nice? And you pump the brakes, because the brakes overheat pretty easily on this little plane. Yes, we're doing that. Alright, that was fun. So yeah, lots of things that I find interesting with this little mission. I'm often like not too sure what to do sometimes if I only have like 10-15 minutes. And as you can see, a lot of these short training hops that we've done, you can get them done fairly quickly. So yeah, it's kind of a fun thing to do. So hopefully you enjoyed that little video. Maybe gives you some ideas for your own training. And I can see 2 dots there. Is that our F-15s coming into land? I think they're coming into land. A nice formation of F-15s. And so we've been able to do all our training, and now they're coming back home. Although I don't think it's the original 2. I think I had started 2 other ones later in the mission. So yeah, they're coming back to base. So that's going to be it for me for tonight. So cool hand out.